Okay, so for this part, we will be introduced to another depreciation method, which is the sinking fund method or the SFM. Like the straight line method, it is also a simple method of solving the depreciation value. However, using this method, we can see that the funds will accumulate for replacement purposes, or yung value of our properties or assets will be sinking, or magde-decrease siya ng magde-decrease until it reaches its salvage value. So for this method, we'll still be using the same variables denoting our parameters. So for the first one, we have the annual depreciation is still the small letter D. Its formula will be C sub 0 minus C sub L multiplied by I all over 1 plus I raised to L minus 1. The total depreciation is the capital letter D. Its formula will be 1 plus I raised to N minus 1 multiplied by C sub 0 minus C sub L all over 1 plus I raised to L minus 1. And lastly, we have the book value, which is still C sub N. Its formula is C sub 0 minus D sub N. So, by default, let's use the sinking fund method to solve these problems. We have problem number 1. A machine costs 300,000 pesos with a salvage value of 50,000 pesos at the end of its life of 10 years. If money is worth 6% annually, determine the depreciation at the 6th year. Again, a machine costs 300,000 pesos with a salvage value of 50,000 pesos at the end of its life of 10 years. So let's write the given. We have C sub 0, or the initial cost of the machine, which is 300,000 pesos. The salvage value, or the C sub L, is 50,000 pesos. It's also given its useful life. So L is equal to 10. And the money is worth 6% annually, or I is equal to 6% or 0.06. So for this problem, we were asked to find the depreciation at the 6th year. So our unknown will be our capital letter D sub 6, or the total depreciation at the 6th year. So for the solution, we'll be using the formula D sub 6, or D sub N, is equal to 1 plus I raised to N minus 1 multiplied by C sub 0 minus C sub L all over 1 plus I raised to L minus 1. So substituting the given values, we have 1 plus 0.06 or 6% raised to Rn will be 6 since sabi 6th year, so raised to 6, and then let's erase this one. Yeah. So raised to 6 and then minus 1 dapat. Okay, so minus 1 multiplied by the initial cost na 300,000 pesos minus the salvage value 50,000 pesos all over 1 plus 0.06 for the interest raised to its lifetime na 10 years minus 1. So, using your calculator, you should get the final answer, okay, which is 132,300 pesos and 79 centavos. Meaning, the machine will have a total depreciation of 132,300 pesos and 79 centavos at the 6th year. Okay, so problem number 2. The initial cost of piece of construction equipment is 3 million pesos, having a useful life of 10 years. The estimated salvage value of the equipment at the end of the useful life is 450,000 pesos. Determine the accumulated depreciation at the end of 5th year if interest rate is 8.2% per year. So the given values, we have the initial cost of 3 million pesos. So that will be our C sub O. We're also given the useful life, L, is equal to 10. The estimated salvage value, or C sub L, is equal to 450,000 pesos. Then we have the given interest rate, which is 8.2% or 0.082. So based from the problem, we will be solving the value at the end of 5th year. So our N will be equal to 5. So determine the accumulated depreciation. Just like problem number 1, we are still asked to find the total depreciation or capital letter D at the end of year 5. So our unknown will be D sub 5. So almost the same solution. We'll be using the formula D sub N is equal to 1 plus I raised to N minus 1 multiplied by C sub 0 minus C sub L all over 1 plus I raised to L minus 1. And then substituting the given values, we have 1 plus 8.2% raised to 5 minus 1 multiplied by 3 million pesos, or our initial cost, minus the salvage value na 450,000 pesos all over 1 plus 8.2% raised to 10 minus 1. So using our calculator, the final answer should be so the final answer should be 1,026,990 pesos and 33 centavos. So after 5 years, the accumulated depreciation of the construction equipment is 1,026,990 pesos and 33 centavos. Okay, so we'll proceed with the next problem. So problem number 3. A restaurant buys a wood-burning stove for 20,000 pesos. The stove has a lifetime of 4 years and a salvage value of 1,500 pesos. what is the accumulated depreciation at the end of third year if the annual interest rate is 9%. Another problem involving accumulated depreciation. So this time we'll be computing the value at the end of third year. So let's write the given. We have the initial cost of the stove, or the C sub O. And our C sub O is equal to 20,000 pesos. The stove has a lifetime of 4 years, so we have L is equal to 4. A salvage value of 1,500 pesos. So C sub L is equal to 1,500. So we also have the third year as given, so N is equal to 3, and then the annual interest rate is 9%. So we have I is equal to 9%, or 0.09. The unknown for this problem is the accumulated depreciation at the end of third year, or D sub 3. So using the same formula, or D sub N is equal to 1 plus I raised to N minus 1 multiplied by C sub 0 minus C sub L all over 1 plus I raised to L minus 1. Substituting with the given values, we will have 1 plus 0.09 raised to 3 minus 1 multiplied by 20,000 pesos minus 1,500 all over 1 plus 9% raised to 4 minus 1. So, after solving it in the calculator, our final answer should be 13,000 pesos 261.13, or the accumulated depreciation of the wood burning stove at the end of third year is 13,261 pesos and 13 centavos. And so we have those problems as example of finding the accumulated depreciation. So for this problem, we were asked to find naman yung book value. Yan. So we have the same given. A restaurant buys a wood burning stove for 20,000 pesos, and the stove has a lifetime of 4 years, has a salvage value of 1,500 pesos. The question is to find the book value at the end of third year if the annual interest rate is 9%. So this is a follow-up question for problem number 3, but let's still write the given parameters from this problem. Okay, so the given will be the following. And we have yung given na 20,000 pesos as the initial cost of the wood burning stove, this one, and then we have the lifetime of the stove is 4 years, so L is equal to 4. And then the salvage value is 1,500 pesos. So that will be our C sub L. And C sub L is equal to 1,500. Then we have the annual interest rate na 9%, and at the end of third year means N is equal to 3. So I is 9% or 0.09 in decimal. Yan. Let's just underline the given from this problem so you can see. Okay, so the question again is to find the book value. Yan. So the book value is denoted as C sub N. Diba? And then meaning, if we were asked to find the book value at the end of third year, we will be needing to solve C sub 3. So, in order to do that, we can refer to our earlier problem, si problem 3 natin. So, from problem 3, we have solved the accumulated depreciation at the end of third year. The value of D sub 3 is 13,261 pesos and 13 centavos. Once again, that's from problem number 3. So we will just need the formula of the book value. C sub 3 is equal to C sub 0 minus D sub 3. So the initial cost of 20,000 pesos, and then minus the accumulated depreciation na 13,261 pesos and 13 centavos. The remaining value will just be 6,738 pesos and 87 centavos. So the book value of the same stove at the end of third year will just be 6,738 pesos and 87 centavos. Okay, so we have remaining one problem for this part. And we have our problem number 5. So for problem 5, an equipment cost 10,000 pesos with a salvage value of 500 pesos at the end of 10 years. Calculate the annual depreciation cost by sinking fund method at 4% interest. And so we need to find here the annual depreciation cost. So another type of problem involving sinking fund method. So the given, we have the initial cost of the equipment, or C sub 0 is equal to 10,000 pesos. And then the salvage value is 500 pesos, so that's C sub L. At the end of 10 years, so the useful life, or L, is equal to 10. It is also given this one, the interest rate is 4%. So we have I is equal to 4% or 0.04. So for this problem, we were just asked to find the annual depreciation cost or the value of our depreciation per year. So our unknown is only the small letter D. So for the solution, we'll be using the formula D is equal to C sub 0 minus C sub L multiplied by I all over 1 plus I raised to L minus 1. And then let's substitute with the given value. So RD will be equal to 10,000 minus 500 multiplied by 0.04 or 4% all over 1 plus 0.04 raised to 10 minus 1. Yan. So, using your calculator, you should be able to find the final answer, which is 791 pesos and 26 centavos. Yan. So, the annual depreciation of the given equipment is 791 pesos and 26 centavos.